one, I haven't done face-to-face in a little bit. I wanted to run through all the books I have read, am going to read, or on my to-read list before I start the Appalachian Trail. For those who are new, I am hiking the entire Appalachian Trail with my dog Stella, and we will be leaving in late March. So there's only about 6 weeks until we start. Additionally, we're going to be doing a month-long road trip before we set out on our hike. I'll have more on that epic road trip at the end of the video, so stick around for it. Now this list is just the physical books that I'm reading. I have a few other audiobooks that are on my list as well, but I have to get through these ones so that I can return them back to my library. I am on my 3rd renewal period. There are 7 books in total that I'm going to talk about. The first 3 are books that directly relate to the Appalachian Trail. I've enjoyed these books as they all tell stories and give vital information about what I myself am about to experience. They're very applicable even if some of them are a little older. I actually like that some of them are older because things on trail are considerably easier than when these authors did their through hikes. At least in regard to trail towns, shuttles, trail angels, and the availability of cell phones, which makes getting shuttles and booking things super easy, not to mention all of the applications you can use while hiking, like Far Out, also known as Gut Hook. This first book on my list, Appalachian Trail Odyssey by Jeffrey H. Ryan, was written by a section hiker who took 28 years to complete the Appalachian Trail. It is a combination of the memoir of author Jeffrey Ryan completing this adventure with his best friend, as well as being a how-to guide when hiking. This book reads like a detailed journal, with the added bonus of having pictures, graphs, charts, and maps. Even though this journey spans 28 years, I found it very applicable to myself attempting this through hike because it's all about the spirit of adventure, triumph in the face of adversity, and of course, friendship. A great read for all hikers. The book Long Distance Hiking by Roland User is an amazing amalgamation of information from across hundreds of different through hikers. This is a how-to style guidebook on the Appalachian Trail that covers everything from clothing, to sleeping, to animals, to trail people, etc. The author interviewed hundreds of people to collect all of this information. He then compiled it all together in this great, easy-to-read book. You can quickly navigate to sections you want more information on, or you can read it cover to cover to make the most of it. Getting into statistics and data analysis myself made this book mouth-watering. The author clearly communicates when conclusions can't be drawn and invites the reader to instead try it out for themselves. Probably my favorite book that I've read so far, A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson, is indeed an incredible book. In contrast to the book by Muser, this book is a complete and total memoir of the author's attempt to through hike the entire Appalachian Trail. It's even been adapted into a movie that I'm sure a lot of people have seen, though like most adaptations, the book is far better than the movie. I could hardly put this book down from the moment that I opened it. Bill Bryson's humor and way of storytelling hook you in and really make you feel like you're part of the adventure. Expertly laced into the narrative are all sorts of facts and information about the trail and Bryson's adventure that are woven in perfectly. While the author did not complete his through hike, this book still stands as amazing because it clearly shows the negative side of hiking, far clearer than any other book I've ever read. This book makes you understand why some people quit, why they can't make it. It gives you a much better idea of what you are about to face, both physically and mentally. No other books have matched the feelings of hardship, pain, fear, and exhaustion quite like this one. Top tier read. I've got 4 books that deal with interacting with nature and how to be prepared to deal with it. These are all supplementary information that I've been enjoying as they boost my knowledge and understanding of why nature is the way it is and how I can work with nature and not against it. I have not read these books cover to cover as there are many sections of them that just do not apply at all to the Appalachian Trail. And I have a limited amount of time that I can spend in books per day. First up, Bears Without Fear by Kevin Van Tine. Google was not helping. This book is all about removing the nightmare fuel that was poured into many of us as children, that bears are mindless killing machines just waiting their chance to sink their teeth and claws into any unsuspecting hiker or camper who accidentally wanders into their woods. Author Kevin Van Tine is here with his decades of experience with bears of all kinds to demystify them and let readers get to see their true nature. Bears just want a bear. I read the entire section on black bears and I read through a good chunk of the rest of the book, but I definitely focused on the section on black bears because that's what I'm going to be seeing on trail. There's no brown bears or grizzly bears on the Appalachian Trail. From habitat to mating to family life and why black bears are also brown, blue, tan, and white. This book gets deep into bears and their daily life, and why attacks have occurred in the past, and how to move forward safely now. Knowledge is power, and I am a lot less afraid of black bears after reading this. The book Field Guide to Edible Wild Plants by Bradford Angier is a fun little book that I've actually checked out from the library a few times now. I'm not expecting to have to survive for weeks on end and eat plants while on the Appalachian Trail, but it's more for a curiosity for curiosity's sake kind of book. Plus, it can't hurt to be informed. It contains a vast amount of plants from across North America and gives each one a picture, lists all local names, gives a very detailed description, details their distribution, and outlines how and when to eat them properly, and if they have any extra nutritional properties, like vitamins, minerals, or any medicinal properties. The only problem is that this book covers plants across all of North America, and there are a ton of plants listed in here that I will never see on the Appalachian Trail. Aside from that, I really enjoyed reading this. After going through a bunch of the plants in the previous book, I thought to myself, gee, it would be really bad if I somehow got these mixed up and ate something that I really shouldn't be eating. A quick trip back to the library, and here we are, with a North American Guide to Common Poisonous Plants and Mushrooms by Drs. Nancy J. Turner and Patrick von Otterkaz. This book covers plants in the same way as the previous book on plants did, with a picture, quick information, detailed description, and their general location. It then dives into their toxicity and symptoms experienced after consumption, and lastly gives other important notes about the plant. I thought the information covered was insightful, and I learned a lot, and I think I have a better general idea of what to stay away from now. Did you know that there's a mushroom that's fine to eat, perfectly fine to eat, but it's not fine to eat if you consume it with alcohol? That's the kind of crazy stuff I learned in this book. The last book on my list, and probably my second favorite read, The Natural Navigator by Tristan Gooley. This book is all about learning to read and understand your surroundings. Not just in the event that you get turned around and are lost, but in your everyday navigation. How to read the clouds and wind to know if your sunshine is about to turn into storms. How to read the water for safe crossing, using animals as a guide to where fresh water is. And how to easily orient yourself anywhere in the world using things like flowers, moss, snow, and stars. It contains pictures and diagrams to better explain things, as well as anecdotes and extra information to tie it all together. I still haven't finished this book, but from what I've read so far, I will be revisiting it again and again. Those are the 7 books I have read or am reading in preparation of my 2022 Appalachian Trail Thru-Hike. I've also got a few books on Audible, such as How to Hike the Appalachian Trail by Chris Cage. I love Audible and will be using it a ton on trail. If you don't have Audible Plus and would like to try it out, you can do a free trial course to see if you like it. I've put a link down in the description that lets anybody who click it get a free 30-day trial for Audible Plus, which is a brand new all-you-can-listen membership that offers access to thousands of titles, including a vast array of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Alright, quick life update for those who are interested. Stella and I are going to be going on a month-long road trip. We leave later this week and we'll still have 2 weeks after our trip before we start our Appalachian Trail Thru-Hike. I will still be putting out Appalachian Trail related videos during that time, but I also would really like to do some travel videos while we're out there. We have plans to hit up Knoxville, New Orleans, San Antonio, Albuquerque, Salt Lake City, Pocatello, Fort Collins, Denver, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Nashville. I will be visiting lots of friends and family that I haven't gotten to see in years. Because of the pandemic, I haven't seen anybody in 2 years. No one's seen anybody. Now that so many people have been vaccinated or recovered themselves from COVID, I feel it is a more appropriate time to go, and I really want to get it done before I start my Thru-Hike. I'll still have that 2-week buffer window from when we get back before we start the trip. I can always cut my road trip short, but let's hope I don't have to. That is everything. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what books you're reading that are good for thru-hikers, backpackers, campers, or adventurers in general. All right, I'll see you guys out there. Don't forget to reapply your sunscreen.